Just a second. I'm just waiting to make sure that I get confirmation that it's working. And then we can start with prayer. I'm working on 2 computers here, okay? Okay, so we could call the meeting to order at 6:40 p.m. on November 2nd, 2020. We'll start the meeting with prayer. Brad, if you can lead with prayer, please.
Certainly. I just want to make sure I'm still off mute. Okay. If you can join me in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Lord God, we ask for the grace of your presence and the gift of your wisdom as we gather today in the service of Catholic education. Send us your spirit to guide us so that we may be collaborative leaders and genuine witnesses to the faith and mission we profess. Make us sensitive to the gifts of others, enabling them to enrich our school communities. Under the patronage of Mary, Mother of our Savior, we dedicate ourselves to excellence in education, respect for the dignity of all persons, and the sanctity of creation. We ask this in the name of Jesus. Amen. In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Thank you, everybody. Just grabbing the minutes here so we can go through it. We got regrets from Lisa and we got regrets from Maria. Everybody have a chance. Sorry, roll call, introduction. So we do have quorum. Jean-Marc Fauteur has joined us from his car. Like to thank him for joining us. He couldn't make the last meeting. Jean-Marc, if you could just take a minute to introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about yourself so everybody can know who everybody is.
Yes, no problem. My name obviously is Jean-Marc Fauteur. I live in Innisfil. I have a daughter that goes to St. Pete's. I work in Toronto, Richmond Hill actually, as a electrical designer and manager, and that's mostly about it. We've been up in Innisfil for 15 years and enjoy the area and the community.
Thank you, Jean-Marc. Next on review and approval of the agenda has everybody had a chance to review the agenda? Okay, do we have consensus on approval of the agenda? Does everybody agree? I don't see anybody saying no, so we'll go on. Review and approval of the minutes of October 5th, 2020 meeting. Has everybody had a chance to review the meeting minutes? And does anybody have any changes, omissions, errors that they see that we should take note of in our minutes of this meeting?
I didn't see the minutes.
I sent them out on Saturday.
I don't know if I didn't click on the right, and if I try and look for them, I will lose you.
Okay.
So I'm sure they're fine, but
They were attached in the email, the agenda and the minutes, and also linked in the email.
Okay, I will look again.
Okay.
Thank you.
If you find anything, any errors, just let me know after and we'll add it in.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, next announcement introduction. We got Jean-Marc to introduce himself. Thank you. Is there any declarations of conflict of interest when anything on the agenda this evening? I don't see any. Chair's report. I have nothing to report on this evening. I want to leave it open to the principal's report, the CPIC and the parish report, as well as the teacher's report and the student rep's report on there. Thank you. Brad?
I'm up. So welcome everybody. Just a couple of things from the board office. Our new director started today. Frances Begley comes from York Catholic Board. So we welcome her. She sent out a welcome letter this evening, and a really, really interesting time to begin in that role. So I wish her all the best. There's 2 new supervisory officers. They both have elementary portfolios. One is an internal person, so she was a principal in our board, and then one is an external person who will be starting. They started last week. Andy Sendick, who was our superintendent, is now moved to the role of superintendent of human resources. And we have Chris Woodcroft is joining us as secondary SO. So he had been an elementary SO with us for the past year, and but all of his experience in the school is secondary. So he brings a lot of great experience to us. So that's great. The next thing from the board is it's really interesting because Take Our Kid to Work Day, which is typically this week, so it's on Wednesday. It was basically, we were told that it wasn't going to happen at all. And so we've had a couple families ask if their children can go to take part in different experiences. So we said that absolutely, because they're going to be signed out and excused for that day. But in the meantime, we've been given some virtual experiences for students that day. And so that's being sent out to teachers, in the hope that they'll pass along to students and they'll have some opportunity to check out some things as well. So we'll see how that goes. And we might be sending out some stuff to families as well for the grade 9s, just so if they didn't get a chance during the day that they can still participate in some of those things. So that's good. School items. So we're moving towards hybrid learning. So basically, I know some information has come out already, but basically what it would mean is that each class would have the option or the opportunity to have some face-to-face students and some virtual learning students. Where it becomes difficult is with hands-on programs. So for example, would be something like automotive service tech, or one of the phys ed classes, something like that. So there could be some opportunity for students that if they need to have a hands-on course as part of their pathway, they could still come and to participate in those courses and still be virtual learning for the other course. So we're trying to be flexible around that. But once again, it does mean re-timetabling the whole school. We have usually, if we didn't talk about this last time, usually it takes about 4 or 5 months to do the timetable. Last time we did in September in about 5 days. So we actually have like 10 days. So feels like there's tons of time this time. But it means all of the students that are in virtual learning at the virtual learning school now will get brought back into St. Peter's, and all the staff that is teaching virtually will get brought back into St. Peter's. And so we'll be able to run a timetable that should last for the whole year. A lot of people ask to get schedules really early this year. In typical years, grade 9s get their timetable the week before school on the orientation day, and every other student gets it at the first day of class. So we're this year we're ahead of the game. We sent everything out at least the night before, for some people the weekend before. So we're going to get those timetables out as soon as we possibly can, and then there'll be a follow up with kids that making course changes. So it'll be a similar process to Quad 1, where in their virtual classrooms, in their Google Classrooms for the guidance put out, they'll be able to put in a request. So. So we're ripping through that as quick as we can. Report cards are going to be from Quad 1 will go out from the school the week of November 23rd to 27th. We still have to have a date finalized because there's a few other pieces that have to come into play. And other things that we're still waiting to hear is the last week of Quad 1. We know that they're going to balance it out with some week 1 and week 2 days. So that way each week has the same number of days. But we still are waiting to hear what that will look like. Because it has to be approved through the Board of Trustees Wednesday night, so we should hear Thursday. So it's does it feel really last minute? Yep, absolutely. People are trying to prepare for that week, but unfortunately, that's just the way that has to unroll. Any questions about those things so far? Okay, sounds good. Graduation, we're really excited to have our graduation is going to be Saturday, November 21st. There's going to be a virtual ceremony and distribution of diplomas and a virtual closing ceremony. So that'll happen. Lorenzo and Les are going to provide me hopefully with a video to add to that. So that would be great. Just as an aside, it's our team had met about what to do for graduation and we came up with a plan. That plan was shared with our other 9 high schools, and the other 9 high schools are basically using our plan, but they started early. So a lot of people, we were getting some flack that we weren't doing anything, but it was like, well, actually we planned it. So other schools are using our plan, but that's okay. We have tough skin. So we're excited to be able to do that. One of the things that was really important to us is we were talking about different places we can have the graduation and all kinds of different ideas. And Jen Lemieux said, well, you know what, kids never got to say goodbye to their school. And so that's why we felt it was very, very important to have that exercise of having students be able to walk through, come into the gym, actually get a diploma and say goodbye properly. So that's all coming. So we're looking forward to that. We talked last time about a mental health plan that is really important to us, especially as students are going to be coming in and out of virtual learning for Quad 2. Keeping an eye on how our staff are doing, how our students are doing. So one of the things we did was virtual Clash of the Colors last week, and it was a lot of discussion. We had to make sure that we kept things really, really as safe as we could, but we really wanted to do something to celebrate students and do something for them. And so I just wanted to ask Ashley if she had any feedback.
So yeah, last week the week of October 19th, we had the Clash, and we've heard a lot of positive feedback, a few negative, but overall, a lot of people were happy that they got a little bit of a break from class and also got to experience Clash of Colors, especially the grade 9s since it was new to them. And also there's a lot of competition between the grade 11s and 12s, which is a lot of fun too. And I know they were all excited for that. So, and there's a lot of participation, which we were really happy about as well. So overall, it was a good experience.
Awesome, thank you. I know this is just a couple things. I know this is cafeteria board, but just so people know, we're still working on the closeout. Belinda is coming back on Friday. She's already been doing some work with Lucy, so that will continue, hopefully done on Friday. And there was an update from the Ministry of Labor where they're changing the direction and keeping away from St. Pete's right now. So that was good news for us. Anyway, and that's all I have.
Thank you, Brad. I have a question about when the new hybrid model comes in. Are the cohorts going to stay the same, or are we changing cohorts?
Yeah, so it'll be a brand new schedule each quad. So students will be put into new classes for those. Yeah, so it'll be new.
Thank you.
So now, as far as the classrooms assigned around the school, those zones, that will stay the same, but students will likely need to change zones as they change to new teachers.
Thank
That's
you.
a good question.
Michelle, for our teachers report.
Can I ask a quick question about the hybrid?
For sure.
as a parent, I'm just curious. Michael is an in-class student, but if he were homesick, is he able to access online, or is that only for the online students?
So the difficult answer is yeah, absolutely. And the reason why that's difficult is because in order to get the scheduling as tight as we can, we've asked for parents to commit to being
Yeah.
virtual or face to face, so we know what we're getting.
Yeah.
But the real reality is one of the strengths at a secondary level is that if somebody's not feeling good, knowing that they can stay home and get into their classroom is a huge advantage. Right now, we know, I mean, kids, they don't want to miss a day because they're missing like a week of school.
Yeah.
And so that pressure of coming in is a lot. So yeah, so that's how we're going to be addressing it. If you're participating in your class, if you're there face to face, or if you're at home, then you're participating. So
Okay.
yeah, that makes
Okay,
sense.
thank you. Yes, thank you.
And we might as well talk about it now. We know that there's a real big push from parent communities and some staff at the elementary level for hybrid, because they announced that they were going to move to hybrid model. One of the things is that at secondary, we did a lot of consultation and discussion with our team before it went to that level, and looked at pros and cons and what it means for staffing. And one of the biggest pieces for us was the pathways. So for example, the virtual school could only offer so many courses. And so if you're in grade 12 and you need to have your grade 12 pathway all set for the year, actually by November 5th, it was almost impossible to do that. And so that was a big push for us to look at hybrid. So anyway, and like we said, there's some strength at a secondary level. At elementary, completely different. So there is some of that. So you might hear those things out there, but so far it looks like they are taking. How is it? They're slowing down the process in elementary, so we don't really know what that means. But we're still moving ahead because we see how it can benefit some of our students.
All right, thank you.
Yep, no problem.
I have a follow-up question. I think you said at the beginning of the year that we lost 13 in-school teachers. Does that mean those or more will be coming back to the school?
So we will be getting them back, and then there might be some adjustments in staff depending on, like, once we get our final numbers, whether we'll have an extra teacher or a teacher down or that sort of thing. But that once again, that makes it easier for staffing, because then we'll see, here's who we have for the rest of the year, and there's usually adjustment between semester 1 and semester 2. But the way we were going to be doing it is redoing the whole thing every quad, so it gives us a lot more stability too.
So in 21 days, when does the new quadmester start?
November 16th.
So in 2 weeks, you're going to have all of this scheduled?
Yes.
There's only 24 hours.
Like I said, we have like twice as much time as last squad. So believe it or not, we're like, wow, it's great.
Okay.
It still is very, a lot of people are still really worried. A lot of staff are really worried about making that schedule happen and the change and what it's going to look like in their classroom. Like, there's still a lot of learning and support that needs to happen. But the board has dedicated themselves to offer that support for people that need it. And so I think I'm hoping that we're in good shape as far as the timetable goes. We're ahead of where we thought we would be at this point. So that's good, because that doesn't happen very often in these panic situations.
And is there anything that we can do to make sure that those that don't have a computer or a Mac or good internet, is the board offering anything to help those people out?
Yeah, and I think we might have to be a sit and wait to see what that looks like. I think that we have a lot of technology already out for people that were virtual, so there might be some people that are changing to that virtual stream that might need some support, but we haven't had people ask for that so far. We're kind of, when people ask, we're trying to support that. One of the big things we want to make sure is that teachers are set up in their classrooms in a way that they can do this comfortably. So that's still some things to follow. I mean, they've ordered headsets. They've changed the Brightspace piece so that there's a button on it where it's a live streaming audio. So basically, when students see that icon moves up, that means your teacher is about to talk, and that you can click on it and hear what's going on. So there's a lot of things that they're doing in the background to get ready. It's a lot. It's a lot of stuff for sure.
Good to hear.
I have a question, sorry. So right now my kids are doing the virtual and they have 2 courses per day. Is that the same as face-to-face, or is it 1 class per week that I'm hearing different things?
Yes, it'll be 1 class per week on a week.
For the full day? Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it'll be like so it will be a little bit different than what they have right now. But as far as the schedule kind of goes, it'll be loosely the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Going back to graduation for 2020 grads, can Lorenzo and I borrow your Harley to do our video?
Absolutely.
Look, Lorenzo and I have to talk about what we want to do. I was thinking that we do a video together.
Yeah, that'll be great.
Okay. We know it has to be on a Sunday, right, Lorenzo? All right. Thank you. Michelle, have you figured out how to unmute? Because I cannot remotely unmute you. Are you on an iPad? On your phone? On a computer? Can somebody lip read?
Can you hear me now?
Oh, we can hear you.
Yes? Okay, I have echo.
You're signed in twice.
It's because you have 2 open meetings. I don't know what you call
I have
it.
2 meetings going.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. I don't know how to turn it off. Okay, so this is going to be hybrid.
Can you
This is a good
Seriously?
lesson, and yes.
can you turn the sound down on one of your devices?
I'm going to see if I could turn down a device. Talk to somebody else and I'll be right back.
Okay. In the meantime, we can go to the student rep report. Ashley?
Hi. So far, from my knowledge, everything's been going okay. We've had good events in our last meeting. Like Mr. Sherman said, we had Clash of Colors take place on October 19th, which was a positive experience. We also had Halloween, which was interesting as well. There's a lot of participation, especially for taking place not on Halloween, which is cool. The student union also organized community cleanup, which few of the science classes took part in, which was good because we actually got to help clean up the garbage around our school because there is quite a bit of it. The only concern that a lot of students had that I've heard of, Mr. Shorman touched upon it earlier, was how next week was going to look. A lot of teachers have been giving us feedback of what they think is going to happen. Many of them said that we're not going to have school on Friday, and our week 1 class is going to be Monday and Tuesday, and week 2 class is going to be Wednesday and Thursday. I just know that a lot of students are confused about that, and they wanted to know, but there hasn't been a lot of information about that. So that's the only thing they had concerns about, and they just wanted to know.
And Ashley, that'll be passed Wednesday night at the board meeting, so we will find out Thursday. Tons of time.
I'll let them know when it's going to come out if they ask.
And just to bring that up, the reason why they're thinking that there might not be school on Friday is because there's a PD day on November 20th that they're trying to move to the 13th. But there's a lot of red tape because it has to be approved through the Ministry of Education. And the first time they asked, they were told no. But then when they saw the situation, it was a maybe. So that's what they're trying to work out. And then depending on what happens with that day, the other days will be balanced out somehow. So that's kind of what we're waiting for.
Thank you. I know my teacher told me they wanted to get the report cards done on Friday, so that's why they were hoping Friday would be off as well. So.
Thank you, Ashley. Claudine has to leave by 7:30. Would it be okay if we have Claudine, our community rep, go next, and then we can continue on with Michelle and CPIC and Parish? Is that okay with everybody? Thank you.
Thanks, Leslie. Hi, everyone. Great to see you again. Great to see that our school's still functioning and our students aren't running for the hills. You're doing a great job, Principal Brad. You're doing a great job. Thank you so much for what you're doing. And I know, of course, it's a team effort with your teachers and everyone that is part of that. The one thing I wanted to, or a couple things that I wanted to talk about from a community perspective, and it was referenced by Leslie at the beginning of his, I think in the question that he asked. One of the things that we're seeing more broadly in the community, and of course it probably will have trickle down effects. Maybe St. Pete's is not seeing that as yet, but it's regards to not only housing and food insecurity, but technology insecurity. And you know, so we know that the Ministry of Education, school boards have been very proactive in looking at how best to equip families who can't afford or who do not have access to the technology and the connections needed to access school, you know, in this new reimagined delivery of school. So that is something that is on the forefront of some of the work that I'm working on with the Coalition Children, Youth and Family of Simcoe County. And it's also part of a advocacy push that we're doing with the ministry, because we are funded through a various number of ministries, including the Ministry of Education. So, you know, we have the opportunity to be in front of the various ministers. And one of the things that we're doing is to bring that to their attention, you know, more than just the superficial, okay, let's do this. It's really thinking about from a systemic basis. And as we move ahead, how do we make sure that we can equip our families to access the education that they need for their children? So that's something that we're advocating on behalf of all children, youth, and family in Simcoe County. So that's the one thing. And then the second thing, and we talked about this last week, and I think it was mentioned as well here, is around mental health and the mental health impact of all of this on our students. And we know that students, they react differently. They're all individuals. So the way they come at any kind of problem will be different. And even though COVID has, on one hand, elevated the focus on mental health, the stigma that usually is attached to it, it's still a big issue for students. And I had a session with Georgian College just recently, just talking to students. And I think, you know, we can extrapolate that to high school students who are feeling a huge pressure from having to change how they access learning, how they get the work done, how they get help if they need help with regards to the material itself, much less the coping of the environment around them. So that's something we're also focused on, and working with a number of organizations here in Simcoe County about that, and how, you know, the ministry needs to factor that in when they think about their funding, and how, you know, they usually don't focus on anything outside of the education curriculum and all those pieces, but, you know, we need the whole student going to school. So it's something that we're focusing on as well. So that's my report from a community perspective.
Thank you, Claudine. I have to agree with you. I'm a board member of the local Chapter 36 of Canadian Association of Retired People. I'm not retired. It's open to anybody above 18 and over. And I just got out of the meeting from 5:30 to 6:15, and seniors are feeling the pressures also. So we're seeing it at all ends, and they're feeling the isolation too on there. So it's mental health is a big problem right now. Thank you. Michelle's back on.
Can everybody hear me?
No, nobody can hear you.
Okay, because I don't see anything on my screen, but my computer's acting up. But if you could hear me, that's great.
Yes.
The teachers are concerned about the hybrid model because it's one thing it's teaching in two totally different ways, and we're concerned of not being there for each set of students, the ones that are learning virtually and the ones that are in front of us. I'm looking at my computer glitching right now, and I worry that that I will have everything ready to go. So because this is brand new, I guess there'll be a lesson that I'll be teaching, but the students won't be seeing me, they'll be seeing my PowerPoint. Or if they will be seeing me, they won't be able to see what's on the board. It'll be a lot different. I know there's little tutorials and things you could join to help, but we don't really have whole day PD sessions to get us ready for Brightspace. So we'll be counting on each other to help us to learn it. And we do have some fantastic teachers who teach and will stay and do the things on their own time. They're already teachers getting together to learn. So I guess that's just the thing. I think one of the reasons that the teachers are hoping for a PA day, because we don't even know what we're really going to teach the following week. We don't know our schedules yet. And God bless our administration for all the time that they're putting into scheduling. It's huge. So I could just imagine, once that's set, we could actually start preparing and getting things ready for the classes that we are going to teach. So the Monday, we'll have one day to get ready. Report cards we could do on our own or another day. I don't think they'll take that long, but it'll be interesting. I am worried about it. I know we'll get through it, but I have a feeling it won't be all perfect for those kids who have so much time one-on-one with their virtual teachers. It'll be, okay, you could listen to my voice. We could read this together, or you could read it on your own, and then I'll check back in to see if you have any questions. But it'll probably be going a lot back and forth. So it's worrisome. I'm sure we'll get better at it as time goes on. But it won't be simply just an online course or just face-to-face, because it's both. And with kids who need extra help, it'll be interesting. We'll do our best, but it will not be easy. And I know it's saving money and it's easier to get more courses for kids. I get that. So they can go to college and university, but it's just such a shame that I know both my kids are in university and post-university, just to make sure you get all the information into a quadmester too. I mean, the first one was different, and I'm teaching religion. I have nobody taking theology next year. So, if it was a science course or an English course, the teachers are working really hard to make sure that they have the information they need for first year university. But the hybrid, we're worried. There's a lot of apprehension and a lot of worries because we want to do a good job. But I don't know if we'll have all the technology ready. Mr. Shorman, you mentioned headphones.
Yes, they ordered them. I guess the day or so that they've decided that they're going to go this way, they ordered them.
Mhm.
But I'm with you. The worry is how long some things take sometimes, right?
There's a couple days we don't have internet in the school. It's fine when you're in school, and I understand. The kids. It'll happen. It'll come back on, but it's a worry. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're right, and I think the way that Michelle can, in a positive way, express the concerns. I mean, I think it's amazing, right? Because the concern, the biggest concern is not teachers saying, well, it's something new, so I don't want to do it. The biggest concern is that they're not going to do a good job with it, right? And so like it's a massive thing, and it speaks to how amazing our teachers are at the school, because that's where their heads are, right? It's not like, oh, well, it's new, so I don't want to take on something new. It's, I'm worried that I'm going to let my kids down, right? So
There's
if
also
we,
worry about stress. And
Mhm.
I know there's some teachers that are saying, if I could retire now, I would. And other teachers saying, you know, like we need the technology. We're doing this, but we don't have the technology to do it properly. Whereas in other boards, I have family in the Hamilton board, they have the technology put in place and they started it. I don't know. It is a worry.
So there's lots of work to do for sure.
Mhm.
Absolutely. So pray for us, everyone,
Thank
as we
you.
move towards this.
Thank you, Michelle. I can hear your compassion in your voice that you're so worried about letting the students down. That touches my heart that you're worried about the students and, of course, for yourselves too, not doing your job. That you feel that you would fail at doing your job because of this hybrid model on there. I pray that this works.
Well, you know, you will have parents watching, seeing what's being done, and there will be times where, okay, guys, you're on your own. I'll come back. We'll answer questions, but I'm going to walk around the class and help now too. And just, you know, at the time, I guess we'll just have to make it work, because you're going to have to take time for students to say, let me email your work, check this, you know, whereas it's different if it's all that one way or all the other way. It's going to be really interesting to do both.
I hear you. It sounds more like you're actually doing two jobs, two teacher jobs.
It will be, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Let us know how it goes.
Will do.
Give us status reports. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Next on the agenda, we'll go back. Non-teacher rep, we don't have one of yet. Finances, nothing to report. We still have $500 as our parent engagement. We haven't come up with any ideas on how to engage parents. If anybody got ideas, come back to me with them so we can bring them forward. Michelle, sorry, a follow-up from the last meeting. You were talking about teachers looking to purchase some items depending on how much we have in the cafeteria. And I asked if you could talk to the teachers and come back with some proposals that we can look at.
Yeah, I'll have to get that for next time. I apologize.
Okay, if you can do, I know you're very busy, if you could just mention it. The intention is that we have a cafeteria board sometime next week, a meeting.
Okay.
So if we could bring it to then, at least we can talk about it. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Cafeteria board report, we have nothing really to report right now. We haven't had a meeting yet. We're trying to have one next week and pull everything together. There's been a lot going on in the background that we've been discussing, and members have been put up to date on the weekend with everything that's going on. And we'll make sure to bring the rest of parent council up to date when we have the meeting and we could pull everything together properly. Next, Arlene for our parish rep report, and immediate following Arlene again for our CPIC report. Double duty, Arlene.
No problem, Les. Thank you so much. For the church, today is All Souls Day, and there's a solemn requiem mass being held actually at this moment, being live streamed. It started at 7 o'clock in commemoration for all those who have passed this year. Life Teen will be meeting via Zoom meetings starting November 8th. There is supposedly going to be a full schedule that should be found on the church's website. I keep looking and it keeps telling me that it's not loaded yet. So please, if anybody is interested, please just keep checking the website. And if you can't get onto there, there is always the actual Life Team website. That's usually a great resource and has some wonderful blogs and things like that as well to help engage teens today. Okay. If anybody has students in the elementary level, Edge and Blast are also going to be meeting via Zoom starting this, well, actually they started last Friday on the 30th from 6 to 7 p.m. I did send, I believe, a schedule to you, Les. I don't know if you want to include it or not. Both programs have the same schedule, same topic. They're both running 6 to 7. There it is.
Everybody get that?
So,
All right. I will
yeah. So
forward
if
it. Now,
yeah,
Can I
if
just
anybody's
ask-
interested.
Can I ask a question, Arlene?
Sure.
Have they thought about how they could still have our secondary students volunteer in those? I know it's harder because it's virtual, but have they thought about that? Do you know?
I think they're just trying to get everything running first.
Just get
And
it going. Okay.
then, I mean, always reaching out to Berna is always a great idea. I can never see her turning down help. Maybe have those who are interested just reach directly out to her and say, hey, what can I do? Okay. So yeah, and also oddly enough, even with all the flu shot shortages I've been hearing about lately in the news, this coming Friday evening from 4 till 7, and on Saturday from 1 to 3, the church is actually running a flu shot clinic in the hall. So it does specifically ask for anybody who wants a flu shot to please bring their OHIP card with them. I haven't heard of any cancellations. I haven't heard how many they have. So I would say it's probably first come, first serve. And I mean, great if we run out because that means everybody's getting their flu shot. But we'll see how that goes. But definitely there will be social distancing. Please wear a mask. And as I said, please bring your OHIP card if you're so interested. And last but not least, the 2020 and 2021 Sunday Missals are also available for a cost of $5 after Mass. And as for the church, that's about it. We've literally just caught up on all of our confirmations and First Communions. And we're hoping in January to start for this coming year as well again. So we'll see how that goes. But other than that, I think that's it for the church. And for CPIC, they are literally just in the process of going through all the nomination forms. And in November, we're looking to have a virtual ceremony to welcome new members of CPIC or welcome back old members of CPIC as well. And as soon as I hear anything about that, I'll of course pass it on to Les.
thank you, Arlene.
Nice and easy, nice and fast.
Arlene, 2 questions for you for the flu shot clinic. Are appointments necessary or just first come, first serve?
As far as I can read, it looks like it's first come, first serve. It's literally, they're opening the doors on Friday here at 4 o'clock, and they're hoping to run to 7. I mean, hopefully they do not run out, but I have been reading in the news that there are a lot of shortages. So I'm not sure how many they have on hand. They haven't really said. It was just in the bulletin. So we'll have to, I would, if you want, I would always contact the church directly, contact Karen and see if she maybe knows more. But I'm not sure that they even know. They're just trying to be helpful in the community and give everybody a safe place to go to get one.
Okay, normally when you get your flu shot, you have to wait for 15 minutes after getting it before you can leave the premise. Do you know if that's the same thing at the church and with social distance?
Yeah, as far as I know, the church hall is fairly large, especially when you pull back the dividers. I'm not sure if they realize how many people they may end up getting with this. So it may be long lineups. It may be like the US elections where you have to line up to vote. It may be as bad as that. So maybe bring a lawn chair and dress warm.
Thank you. For CPIC, who nominates, sorry, not nominates, who's going to select from the present members and the new applicants? Is that part of CPIC or is that board level that does that part?
That is board level. We send in the nomination forms and we wait to hear back from them.
Okay, can I ask, have you reapplied to continue on?
Yes, I have.
Thank you. Thank you, Arlene.
No worries.
We've gone through all our regular reports, old business, OSBIE. Brad, did you notify the board? Thank you. Everybody has access to the Google shared folder now. I think Anne Marie was the only one who couldn't last time. Thank you. Meeting dates are on the website. Bylaw subcommittee and cafeteria subcommittee, we haven't met yet. Where we've got time, everything's okay. I already spoke to Michelle just earlier about teachers to submit proposals. So if we could have that before we have a cafeteria meeting, at least we can take it into consideration. Anybody have any parent engagement ideas yet for how we spend our $500? The whole idea is that we try to get parents from the entire school community to be more engaged as to what's going on in the school. Nobody's got ideas.
It's hard with a virtual world, right? Like we normally try to do some sort of event or some, I don't know. Is there something we can do around this hybrid model of?
Well, in
I'm not
past years, we've done our Pathways Night, where we have universities, colleges, armed forces, Barrie Police, Barrie Fire and Rescue, paramedics, Simcoe paramedics come in, different local companies that are looking for skilled workers, innovative automation, but that's all people having to get together. We can't do that. I'm following one that Simcoe County is doing a virtual manufacturing tour that's coming up on November 24th, I think it is. I'm going to watch that one, see how it goes, and maybe if that one worked out well, maybe that's something we can model after. And
That's what I was going to suggest, a virtual, almost like either a virtual town hall with various individuals, like the police could still be there. Everybody could still be there. It's just a matter of how they present their, their product information. We at our place have done virtual town halls for our 600 employees and our families and people we support, and families, they pop in and pop out, and depending on what's on the agenda, if it's something that's relevant around, maybe it's a quick mindfulness thing on mental health, or you get various people popping in, and then you have presenters from the different areas that you could have. And we also had organizations like that are in the community, like the police, who come in and do things. So there's that virtual town hall. I mean, we've done the same thing with our recruiting. We've put it online and have a virtual career fair, right? So I think it's definitely possible.
Good, thank you. Something we'll look at, and I'll email out after the Simcoe County does theirs and see if we can come up with some innovative out of the box ideas that we can do on there. Everything's hybrid, right? Everything's new. We really got to think new in this thing. So open forum and tentative agenda items for future meetings. Anybody else want to bring up anything or discuss anything else that wasn't on the agenda? Nobody? All right. So we can call the meeting, adjourn the meeting at 7:27. I would like to thank everybody for coming in. We were under an hour today. I think that's one of the first times we've done that. Longtime people who have been, we've had some meetings that have been 3 hours at the school. So this is pretty good. I'd like to thank everybody. Have a good evening and please stay safe. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks,
Good night.
everyone. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Have a good night.